right, it's another episode of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. We're at the Illegal Shift Studio, and happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
There you go. So it's been a
happy Lent.
Yes, Lent has begun.
Yes,
Ash Wednesday was this past Wednesday.
First Friday, the fish. I can smell the fish oil wafting through Anderson Township as we speak.
I had a fish sandwich earlier today.
Did you really?
And what did we drive through? It was a Burger King fish sandwich.
And your results?
I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
It was a nice piece of fish. Had some pickles on there. Very enjoyable.
One bite, everybody knows the rules.
So I'm
fucking port.
So I'm happy about that. And it was another day where here's the thing.
Thoughts, Dan. Thoughts.
I had a caller on my show last Saturday. Her name was Sue, and she was giving me 10 kinds of hell, and I mean, really for no good reason at all. But I went out and tried to contact her, and it turns out that I mean it's uncanny. I keep running into these former girlfriends of Andrew Pappas. I mean, it's well known the way you would sire women around town. I mean,
I'm trying to find it, Dan.
So,
I think I deleted it.
You just had it.
No,
well,
you didn't.
I was looking at it right before the show started. I said, "That's the one."
That bit just fell flat.
Oh, the what? Oh, the.
But the guy with the.
I thought you were talking about the teacher. I'm sorry.
No, not the teacher.
Okay.
I don't know anything about the teacher. That's you guys.
Okay. All right.
I sent it on a group chat.
I don't know anything about the teacher.
He doesn't check his shit.
All right. His phone's not here.
We're good to go.
Okay.
But here was a little bit of the rant that she had for those of us who don't think like her. Let's hear it.
Let's make it full screen.
Make it big, yeah. Here we go.
Proud to be woke, proud to be a liberal, proud to be a Democrat. Hell yeah.
Look at the eyes.
What does that mean?
It's in the
that
eyes.
means that I care about everybody. That means I care about the USA. That means I care about our air. That means I care about our parks, our oceans. That means I care about what is going on. That doesn't mean.
I think we may have to start over because I don't think I fucking shared it for whatever reason.
It's not on the screen.
I know. I'm fixing it. I'm
Oh.
fixing it.
Okay.
It's showing it there, but it's not showing it there.
Technical standby. Technical difficulties.
It's. I mean, I'm doing everything that I do
Standby.
every
We'll be
other
back
time.
here.
I know.
Anyway, we're gonna let it play anyway.
So can people hear it?
Proud to be woke, proud to be a liberal, proud to be a Democrat.
Nothing's
Hell
happening.
yeah.
Proud to be a
What does
Democrat.
that mean? That means that I care about everybody.
Still
That
nothing's
means I
happening.
care about the USA. That means I care about our air. That means I care about our parks, our oceans. That means I care about what is going on. That doesn't mean that I am a MAGA, which is a racist Republican. There is a complete difference. You can be a Republican and you're not a MAGA and you're not a racist piece of shit. But yes, I will always stay woke.
Still not happening.
I will always be a
Oh, wait.
liberal and I will always care about my country, the United States of America. Yes, I love America.
She loves America.
I
Well,
love
you know,
what
she
it
was-
stands for. I also love our Constitution.
Can
Yeah.
she stop?
We will never break it, rip it, or burn it.
Can we
We're
stop
stuck with
her?
it.
Will Cray says, "I care about these nuts in your mouth." So he was obviously hearing it. I don't know why it wasn't coming on the screen.
So she loves America, and Andrew, you are no longer going to stomp on the Constitution.
Yeah, I know.
The way that she claims that you do, you racist MAGA piece of shit.
Piece of shit. I love how she
And
probably
but she cares about everyone.
she probably has a coexist sticker on her car. She drives down the road. She doesn't care about her
And-
hair, obviously. 'Cause she doesn't
I
have it.
apologize for the cat urine smell that came through the video. But this is a woman.
Where's our cat sounds?
This is a woman who obviously thinks that she's much smarter than people like the Three Stooges you see here before you.
They all are. They all think that.
I want to throw it out real quick. I don't know if you guys were able to see her or not. For whatever reason, our feed on the TV that we have was not showing, but I did everything the same way that I do typically. It was showing on the master computer.
These computers have a mind of their own sometimes.
I was working on it.
Get that cat out of here.
So, but the point I wanted to make is that is a woman who will gladly tell you that we were much better off under the leadership of Joseph Robinette Biden. So I came across a video that got posted a couple of days ago, and it is a retrospective of Joe Biden and some of the just some of the I would call this minor gaslighting by the mainstream media trying to tell us. Now this clip is 10 minutes long. We're not going to play the whole thing.
Oh, thank God.
But we're going to play about 2 or 3 minutes of it, and you'll get the feel for the kind of thing that this woman supports when it comes to political leadership. So let's see that cut there, Jason, of our former president.
Is this going to work?
This is great stuff.
Let's see if this works.
This has got to
The
work.
screen looks different to me.
It does. I'm going to fix it.
Biden's fiery State of the
There we
Union
go.
address.
I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward.
He was absolutely on fire.
Joe Biden was on fire.
You were on fire.
You brought that Irish fire tonight.
Fired us all up.
Biden was on fire.
At the top of his game.
He's on fire.
He's on fire.
Robust and clear.
Join us tonight is Latoya Beasley. Emboldening others to do what they wish. Big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws, make sure everyone has a fair shot. RGTP is up. I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. Guarantee the right to ABF so builders can get federally financing. Federal is over $1 trillion. $1 million. Millions of families can get, they need to go to work watching auto jobs in the future to instigate the collection.
Joe Biden's fiery and energetic performance.
Fiery and energetic.
Fiery and energetic.
Energetic and fiery. Energetic and fiery.
Fiery, energized.
Fiery energy.
Biden was energetic and fiery.
High energy and fiery.
He had that fire in the belly.
Right.
He had that fire in the belly.
Stamina and the fire in the belly.
He clearly has the stamina.
He has the stamina and the energy. The fire in the belly to show that he has the energy.
Alzheimer's
fire
patient.
in the belly to serve another term.
Pursue a career of service.
And none of us are talking about age this morning because of the fiery performance.
Look, people have had a lot of questions about President Biden, whether it's about his age or ability, but I think he put those to rest last night. I think it was fiery.
Very fiery.
It was forceful.
Forceful. Fiery. Forceful and fiery. State of the Union. Forceful. Biden was forceful.
Joe
I
Biden
should have named the goddamn show Fiery and Forceful.
Too old.
Anyone who watched that speech saw Biden is strong.
His voice was strong. So strong.
Very strong.
He seemed to get stronger.
Like the stronger he is, the stronger he gets.
Strong at the beginning, strong in the middle, strong at the end. Strongest speech.
Really projecting strength with strength, strong and boisterous.
Very strong.
Really strong.
Biden proved he has the strength and mental agility to be an effective president.
President Biden's fiery State of the Union speech.
The man Trump belittles as Sleepy Joe seemed quite fiery.
So much for Sleepy Joe.
We're not doing 10 minutes.
Joe Biden. He was fiery.
President Biden's fiery.
You got to admit
State
that
of
was
the
pretty
Union
good.
address.
It is good.
Watch that speech. You'd have no doubts Biden is going to win this
Give another
election
30
and
seconds.
then have a
Andrew
great
hates sitting
second
for
term.
longer than 10 seconds.
There's
got
no other
ADD
path
like
that
you
guarantees
would believe.
Palestinians can live
Raging.
in peace with peace and dignity.
I thought he was extraordinary in terms of articulating.
Transforming
Another idiot.
in humanitarian crisis. Overwhelmingly benefit the top 1%.
Biden articulating very clear.
Hamas ended this conflict by releasing hostages, laying down arms, could end it.
Killing me, Smalls.
By releasing the hostages, laying down arms, and surrendering.
He could not have made it clearer. He could not have done it better. And he did an unbelievable job.
Oh, that's weird.
Well,
Al
I've
Green
always
was right there.
I've always known what endures toward an enduring, something more enduring.
So powerful.
I would respectfully suggest.
All right. So you get the idea.
Holy shit.
That's only 3 minutes. There's 7 more minutes of that. And look, we got to whoever put that together. I mean, that is huge props. The editing on that is so good. And I mean, look, if you are going to sit there and tell me that Joe Biden is a better president than Donald Trump, I want you to sit there and watch that whole thing, and then you tell me that afterwards.
You know, I'm glad you played it. It did seem long to me, but here's the deal. The funny thing is I see the media coordination of using the same word, the same terms, And I'm reminded now of, the same way that all those Democrat representatives put out that stupid video that they all used exactly the same terms and then thought it was going to be cool and go over well. It's been rejected by the public.
Well, it's been going on for years now. The Democrat National Committee talking points go out, and it goes out not just to members of Congress or elected officials, but it goes out to them. It goes out to the pundits. It goes out to members of the media. So much so that when you listen to that and you see that, and you've got a mixture of all of them in there.
Yeah.
Can you distinguish who the news person is?
No.
Can you distinguish who the pundit is? Can you distinguish who the elected person is?
No.
They're all the same. They all sound the same.
And they're doing the same thing now against Trump. And and that's why if you
started by our Congressman Greg Landsman, fool and a clown.
He's got some tats.
When I heard him immediately after the Trump address the other night, and he came on and this was after the meeting blew up with Zelensky in the White House. He came on and said, "Well, Donald Trump is aligning with Russia," and I knew right then that was a DNC talking point. And sure enough, over the next several days,
the exact same thing.
Trump is Russia's friend again.
Well, it's funny, and if you go online, if you spend any amount of time online,
not Russia, but Putin.
If you spend any amount of time online, it's funny how you see, especially on posts, you see the same attack, same verbiage, same everything the same from all the liberal media types. And one of the worst, I'd like to call them out here on the show. I can't even barely go on CPO's Facebook feed is terrible, and it's run. I don't know who's putting out their posts, but every second it's Donald Trump bad, Donald Trump bad, blah, 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 blah. Did you guys catch today? I know we didn't talk about it, but did you catch today? And the only reason I caught it is because, as I said, I've been watching a lot of daytime TV lately.
Cooking shows.
No.
No. How to cover up your tender vegetation, stuff like that.
Tender, whatever. Did you see? Do you know the number of jobs? I'm going to let you guess. We'll play Let's Guess. How many federal jobs, did Joe Biden create in 4 years? I want you to think how big the federal government expanded in the 4 years under Biden.
Oh,
just a guess. Just take a guess. No, there's no wrong guess.
100,000.
Jason,
I was more. I was going to go maybe 150.
1.8 million jobs.
Oh my God!
Federal jobs he created in 4 years. Federal jobs expanded by Joe Biden. So my point in reminding everyone of that, and during Trump's first term, Trump cut 71,000 federal jobs, but after that, 1.8 million were created by Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, when he always touted the economy numbers, would always include the jobs that came back after COVID that were lost due to COVID, and then also the 1.8 million federal jobs that he created. So what Trump is doing now and Musk is doing now is no more than paring that back. I mean, did we need in 4 years 1.8 million new federal employees? I would argue no. But
you would
here
hope,
we are.
You would hope not.
We would hope not.
Well, 80,000 of them are IRS agents.
Not anymore.
I know that. I think they got their notice.
Well, so
earlier this week.
Yeah, and that's right. It's not limited to Democrats. John Kasich has been on the anti-Trump bandwagon for quite a while, and isn't he a professor? Isn't he teaching up at like Ohio State or something?
Who?
Kasich? Yeah, I thought he got a gig.
He might be. I don't know.
No, he was gonna be sitting on a board. I thought
something. But I mean, he's been coming out with some tweets, and they're happy. Since he did have a small R after his name, they are happy to broadcast that. But
sure, he was a reliable Trump basher,
right,
from day one.
Right,
he did, and the truth is, when they were in the primary together, Kasich did beat Trump in Ohio. He was the former governor. He's got really good name recognition here. I don't think it should be a surprise that he won Ohio that year, but by the time that primary came around, it was pretty well decided that Trump was going to be the nominee anyway. But Kasich hung on just to, it was a little bit of a gamble there. I mean, what if he would have lost that? Then I think his gig would have been up at CNN. It was going to be up anyway. But
well, I just want when you're listening to the news and you're listening to, and I've even noticed it on even conservative stations at the top of the hour news, how just fundamentally biased they are and how they skew the news to their liking. So I don't know what, there is no answer other than just be careful and double check everything you hear, because and don't let it get you down, because you're going to hear this organized mantra, much the way Dan just shared today, how just that little clip, and I'd like to see all 10 minutes, but not right now.
I'll forward it to you.
Thank you.
I've got it on my email.
I'm sure you do, but you don't have your phone. I
can email on my computer.
Do it right now. The point is that don't let this stuff beat you down. I think we're winning. I think we're doing well. I'm happy with. I mean, you consider we are talking about. Need I remind you both? We are talking about today. Today, every day seems like Christmas, like we've discussed many times. The actual defunding, dismantling of the Department of Education. That is something real that's going to happen. And I think it's amazing, because Donald Trump isn't waiting, although he has faced some setbacks. Obviously, the Supreme Court. I don't know if you guys read Alito's dissension from the majority rule. But,
classic.
Yeah. So we've had some minor setbacks. I wouldn't say anything major. But Donald Trump is proceeding full speed ahead, because he knows he has less than a year, maybe a year and a half, to get everything done, and that he wants to get done before Congress turtles up into re-election mode.
Do you know Doge is set to expire on July 4th, 2026?
Well, they have plenty of time to get that. That's plenty of time, and even discussion,
especially with what they with already what they've been going through,
and even there's discussion. Credible discussion. Now, I don't know how far it'll get about privatizing, the postal service, amongst other things. So we've made progress, and just keep your eye on the ball. Don't get depressed. Don't get upset.
Speaking of Doge, one of the things that they posted a little bit earlier today was they found a contract at the VA.
Oh, I haven't seen this yet.
The contract was for, not a big contract, $56,000.
Shit.
$56,000, and the contract was for whatever company this was to water plants at the VA.
How much was the contract?
$56,000.
God, there must have been a lot of plants.
It was 8 plants over the span of 5 years.
Fuck! I found my retirement gig.
This comes out to $1,400 per plant per year.
Oh, jeez,
that'll supplement my retirement.
How much do the plants cost to begin with? I mean,
the contract has been canceled, and Doge will water the plants free of charge.
Now, could you imagine? Now, that's just one, and people will be like, "Oh," and I love the stories they're saying. Well, they only saved $250,000 by canceling this or canceling. I mean, this shit adds up. And
all those numbers add up. Exactly.
How much of that is in there?
I mean, it's endless. How much is in there?
Endless.
I think I brought up the credit cards the other day, and how many hundreds of thousands of credit card accounts there were.
Right.
But when you total up all the spending on those credit cards, it comes out to $30 billion.
Did you see what?
And so now the narrative now that the left is trying to spin is that, well, this was funding that was approved by Congress, so it must be okay.
Must be good.
Well, no, it's not. It was not approved by Congress. What has Congress been doing over the last, God knows how many, 8, 9, 12 years?
Continuing resolutions.
Continuing resolutions,
no budget.
Omnibus bills,
right?
So there's, what they're approving is a chunk of money for the Department of Defense. Right. They're approving a chunk of money for housing and urban development. They're approving a chunk of money for the Department of Energy. They're approving chunks of money for all these different departments. And then the bureaucrats in those departments are the ones who are setting up the slush funds and sending this money out for all the crazy projects and the crazy shit. And, I mean, the people at the VA can't be bothered to water plants.
Right.
So, I mean, if did you have any plants at the dry cleaner? They probably wouldn't survive in there, but
that toxic environment.
I'm just saying. Can you see fit to spend $56,000 a year?
No.
Or $56,000 over 5 years to have your plants watered?
I'm your man. I'm your man. It'll
I'm-
supplement my fucking pension
I'm
in
here.
3.5 years.
I'm here to water your plant. 8 plants.
Michael Hendricks said, "Can you imagine the mileage points for $30 billion in credit card usage?"
You know the funny, yeah, really, that is a great point.
That's perfect.
And where's all that going?
And the other thing is, so that a court ruled that Doge couldn't cancel the credit card. So you know how they worked around it?
Yeah, I love it. Tell the story.
They put a $1 limit on every credit card.
You can't even buy a pack of fucking gum anymore.
These guys, I mean, try to outsmart them, and they're going to figure out a way around it. But hey, enjoy the news because you're going to get more and more of it, and it's going to be more coordinated than ever before.
All right, I want to move on to another piece of video I saw last night. This was towards the end of my show, and luckily, Kenzie Bartone, who was running the show for me, was able to turn this around in time. And Adam Schiff.
Oh God!
Who
Jason cancel? We both said this.
Adam Schiff came out and I guess he shot this himself because he's holding a little tiny microphone, and maybe no one let him on TV last night. I did not see him on TV very much after the Zelensky thing.
No, you didn't.
I didn't see him on after the Trump address to the joint session of Congress.
Good observation.
But here's Adam Schiff blowing off some steam. And let's go ahead and see what he had to say last night.
We need to speak out. We need to be courageous. They come after me all the time. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they call me a criminal. They call me a traitor. Their MAGA minions online come after me to try to intimidate me, to create fear. I'll tell you my response.
I don't know why the video.
My response to that is screw you and the horse you rode in.
So he's a tough guy.
I hope that is your response. Too. We must not give in to this climate of fear. We are Americans. If our troops can face the bullets and the missiles and the dangers of combat, then sure enough, we can be courageous.
He's a warrior. He is.
For Adam Schiff,
for whatever reason, the fucking videos aren't fucking
is
pulling
brave.
up, and I don't know why.
So brave.
Did you restart the server?
The StreamYard actually changed some shit, and I don't like it.
So, Andrew, you remember when Michelle Malkin used to write columns all the time?
Yeah.
I think she runs a website called Twitchy now, but I don't think she writes columns anymore on a regular basis. But she coined a term years ago when describing creatures that inherit the swamp in Washington, D.C., and that term is crap weasel.
Crap weasel.
And when I look at Adam Schiff, that is what I see.
I think he's worse than
An
that.
absolute crap weasel. And I don't know why any news outlet anywhere would give this guy the time of day or put him on their news. For those of you who may not be familiar, let's take we got a little retrospective here of some of Adam Schiff's greatest hits going back to 2017 and the kind of legacy that this guy has. And so, watch this video and then tell me why you would give any weight or any legitimacy at all to him calling on Americans to be strong in the face of the Donald Trump administration.
Probably only going to get the audio, but hopefully not.
All right, let's watch this.
But you admit it's all you have right now is a circumstantial case.
Actually, no, Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that, and I can't go into the particulars, but there is more than circumstantial evidence now. So, again, I think...
So you have seen direct evidence of collusion?
I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that there is evidence that is not circumstantial and is very much worthy of investigation. So
there has been a report from CNN that Wednesday night that the FBI was looking into collusion with the Russians in the Trump campaign in terms of spreading information about Hillary Clinton's campaign. Do you have any information to back that up?
I'm not sure that I can comment on that. I can say that I think that the investigation that the director talked about at our Monday hearing is justified. I think there is a sufficient basis for that investigation, not only to have been initiated, but for it to continue at this point. And I don't have a concern with other members characterizing the evidence as they have. And many of them have said they think there's no evidence of collusion My disagreement with those members is I don't think that's accurate, and I feel an obligation to say so. So they can call it a fishing expedition, they can call it a witch hunt. It's all an aligned message for the White House. But nonetheless, real evidence is coming forward that just can't be ignored. So we do know a lot more. I think the claims that there was no evidence of collusion have long since fallen away. The question now is, what is the quantum of proof here that Christopher Steele may have found out even before our own intelligence agencies that the Russians were in fact aiming to help Donald Trump in the election.
Steele dossier?
That has now been borne out by ample evidence.
I think you see the most palpable evidence of a collusion in terms of violating the Logan Act.
Look, I don't think you can seriously argue that the Russians weren't trying to help Trump and hurt Clinton, as well as sow discord in the United States. The evidence is quite overwhelming on this. It was the early conclusion of the intelligence community, but that's only been furthered by all of the evidence we've seen in our investigation. And
put out a statement and a report basically saying that they found no evidence of collusion between the Trump team and the Russian government.
He just looks
Have
like a
Democrats
weasel.
found any evidence of collusion?
Yes, we have.
Can you agree that there has been no evidence of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy that has been presented?
I think I agree.
I just have a question.
So you get the idea that, but so Adam Schiff, I mean, and all of it was a lie. So 2017, all of 2018, all of 2019, and even today, he'll go out there and tell you there was ample evidence of Russian collusion between Russia and Trump, when none of it is true. I mean, it's been investigated every possible
and he knew
way.
it wasn't true at the time. He knew it wasn't true.
Sure, he was rolling the dice.
But yet the people of California,
God, what morons!
The people of California elected him over Steve Garvey, so here we are. So it is what it is. I just have a question: How physically does an emaciated neck like that hold up your head for more than literally? I mean, how is his head not just kind of just? You think it just kind of starts wobbling around at the end of the day? Because
I don't know.
What size shirt do you think that is? I mean, I'm a pretty healthy sized neck. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't have like a huge neck, like a bull neck, but I don't have. I mean, that's like a 13.
I don't know.
I mean, his neck is probably smaller than my bicep. Be like putting my head on. Be like putting your head on my neck, Dan.
I mean,
I do have a giant head.
You're probably a fucking portly schmedium. It probably works. Is that what you say when you go into Men's Warehouse and get a fucking dress shirt? I'm a portly schmedium.
When I walk in, they just point the door. They point the way to the big and tall, and they go back there. Just go pull it off the rack.
So there you go. That's my contributions for the show today.
But I mean, you know, the other thing
you just blew your fucking wad 28 minutes in.
Oh, there you go. Well,
that's more than a third of the show. There's three of us here.
Fucking blew your wad.
No,
I've got more if you like.
Why anyone gives him, like you said, any media gives him even airtime? And but he is the duly elected representative from California. So hey, California, keep doing what you're doing.
The junior senator.
Keep doing what you're doing.
So I don't have any articles on this, but we're gonna hit what the main one was, and then we'll roll through that. But Gavin Newsom is now going to be a podcaster.
Yeah.
Do you see that bullshit?
His first one was with Charlie Kirk. Yeah, how about that?
And guess what? He was outmatched, outwitted.
Well,
all day.
But look, what it's kind of backfiring on him a little bit, because I'm just reading here on Breitbart, California I want to get this right, LGBTQ, no plus, caucus sickened by Newsom's turn on trans athletes, because he did admit in the interview,
yes,
he said it's not fair to have trans women competing against biological women. It's just not fair. And so I think what you're seeing is Newsom trying to make a play. I mean, I think the fires hurt him badly in California and pretty much toasted his chances for running for the Democrat, any position, future Democrat nominee. But I think he's trying to pivot to the center and thinks that he's, you want to talk about an arrogant guy. That guy's about as arrogant as anybody you're ever going to meet. He makes rules for everyone else. Remember the French Quarter he was dining at when the mask mandate was in full effect in California, but they were there at the French Quarter, a shishi French restaurant, having their brie and whatever and their foie gras and without their masks on. So he he has got a lot of redeeming to do, and he thinks. And let's be fair, we're talking about California, so you probably see his popularity go tick up after this, because the state out there, I don't know what's in the water or what they're smoking, but they keep electing some really dumb representatives to lead their state recently. Although they did. I got to be honest with you. Last night I was restored because I watched. There was nothing on TV, and I mean nothing. But Reagan was on the movie channel. I watched Reagan again, and
I haven't seen it yet.
You need to see it.
Reagan worth the watch.
Yeah, Reagan's
Okay.
a good flick. I mean, Reagan will. How do I say this? Reagan will, because we're old enough to remember, right? Like, so a lot of people aren't old enough to remember because they didn't live through Reagan. I hate saying it like that because it makes you sound like an old fart, but it's true. Unless you were around during Reagan's presidency, you don't remember how good of a president he was and how much of a good figure he was on TV and radio and during his presentations. Reagan was in a class because you liked Reagan.
This is good debate though, because I was alive and I remember, but I was not paying attention to politics.
Yeah.
You weren't?
No.
Well, he was a kid.
So
So
no problem.
Well, little kids don't.
You
pay
have
attention.
you have
Dude, I wrote a
multiple
letter.
multiple facets of Reagan was a shitty president.
No.
Reagan was a great president.
No.
And
he was a great
and
president.
I'm going to ask the two older gentlemen to my right, your guys' left.
Careful.
What made him a great president? What made him a shitty president? Because I'm hearing both, and I go back and look and I read, and I can try to figure some things out.
Because I said so.
No. It definitely does not.
I'll tell you if
I'm curious.
every
your guys'
once in a
opinions.
while when I'm scrolling through my social media feed, there'll be a video, and one just popped up the other day, and it was Reagan. He was on with Johnny Carson, and Reagan was, and the one thing he was really good at was explaining the principles of conservatism in the most basic and simple ways. And so he was talking to Johnny Carson about the growth of government, and he was talking, and he told, he was able to weave in a story, weave in the facts, and in the folksy kind of way that he could do it.
Very folksy.
But he could also do it at a very high level intellectually. So Reagan was able to cover all those bases, and yet he was constantly described by the left as an out-of-control cowboy,
a bumbling,
going to get us into World War III,
right? Renegade.
And this was at the height
of the Cold War.
And when nuclear fears. We used to practice at school. Oh my God! Look at that flash of light under there.
Get under the desk.
Get under your desk.
Because that's going to save you.
Hide from the nuclear blast that just happened.
Well, the fucking desk chairs are going to fucking break your back.
And
before the fucking nuclear bomb.
And that's during people. You said the height of the Cold War. That's when the Soviet Union was around, and folks, people. It's funny because I do feel old. People don't remember the fall of the Berlin Wall. They have no idea. They just don't remember. It's faded into history. So, yeah, would I say the movie's great? Now, why was Reagan great and why was he bad? Okay, good question.
You just hear, you hear both sides, and it's,
Reagan was great because he was the great communicator. Okay, he could communicate in a way that was not abrasive. It was likable. Folksy was a great word to describe him. He was a fatherly figure to the country, I would say, in a time when they greatly needed it. The one thing about Reagan that he did not do well was probably double check on some things, like, because Reagan, I think he was a little too trusting, and he made a deal with the Democrats when he got into office early, and he said, I will grant amnesty to the people that are here illegally if we tighten up the immigration laws and blah, 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 blah.
That was Ted Kennedy is the one that pushed that deal with him,
right.
and stabbed him in the back.
So in that regard, Reagan sometimes would be too trusting of the Democrats' word, thinking they were operating under the same premises that he was. That's not how it worked.
Well, because Reagan loved America.
He did.
And the Democrats loved their agenda.
Right.
And the Democrat and the liberal agenda comes first before anything else.
So let me ask you, like during Reagan's two terms, economy, where was it at?
Oh, Jesus.
Good,
Where-
bad, and different.
Wait, where was it at when he got in office?
I'm just being real quick with this.
Jimmy Carter was president before Reagan.
That's right.
Shitbag.
Under 4 years of Jimmy Carter, one of the things that Jimmy Carter created was something known as the misery index.
That's right.
And the misery index was a combination of inflation.
This is why I hang out with old dudes.
The unemployment rate,
right?
The gasoline prices,
right?
I mean, gasoline was, the 55. Remember the 55 mile an hour speed limit?
He was responsible for that.
I mean,
Dan will remember. Do you remember? So overnight,
I don't want to go too far into the fucking weeds.
Okay, not too far in the weeds. Carter, the economy was in the shitter,
in shambles.
Your interest rates on your mortgages were double digits. So double digit, 12, 13, 14, maybe higher percentage on your mortgage. So it was, imagine doing the payment on that. Do the math. The misery index was created, and then we had the oil embargo, and you could only fill up your car, at least down where I was.
Yeah,
you could only fill up your car on even or
certain
odd
days of the
days,
week,
depending upon what your license plate was.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
gas lines at the gas stations were epic. So it was just a miserable time, and Reagan just came in office and totally changed it overnight and gave people hope for the future.
Supply side economics,
trickle down.
I remember trickle down.
tax cuts,
growth. And probably the best way to judge someone is what your enemies think of you. And even the Soviets,
that's
a
very fair point.
To this day, the Soviets will acknowledge the reason the Soviet Union totally, and Reagan was responsible for the breakup of the Soviet Union, bar none. But the reason that the Soviet Union broke up is because of Reagan's goodness. And Reagan loved America. And so getting back to my point initially, we kind of got sidetracked. Yeah, this movie is on the movie channels now. So if you can, I would recommend watching it. Dennis Quaid plays an amazing Ronald Reagan. He should win an award. I don't know. I mean, we got our Academy Award here. I wanted to break it to you. This is breaking news. Maybe you can see that we do have, we got our Academy for
mini Oscar.
Well, it's for best podcast, so they're smaller.
Plastic Oscar.
That's right.
Okay.
It's for best podcast, and they mailed it, and it's very nice. But
did you make that on your 3D printing machine?
Maybe.
I'm thinking you did.
Maybe. Can you prove it?
No, I can't prove it, but I'm thinking that's where it came from.
Adam Schiff with your theories, but
there's ample evidence.
Dan Schiff.
Yeah, there's no toes here.
There's ample evidence.
Shit, what was I talking about? But no,
Reagan.
Yeah, I know, but no. If you have a chance, watch it. I'm serious, watch it because it's a good flick. But they did not include Reagan in consideration for that movie for the consideration Academy Award.
Probably didn't even get nominated for anything, did it?
Well, because of some bullshit. They said because it was this, that, or I can't remember what it was, but it was some technicality bullshit.
It didn't fit like a certain genre or whatever.
Right, but it's a good flick, and I recommend everyone watch it. And if
previews looked amazing.
So we're getting back to what has California done well. California has not elected a good governor since Reagan. I mean, they did go through the Schwarzenegger gig, but that didn't work out so well. So I'm wondering what's going on in California, but hopefully it corrects itself. Maybe enough of who's leaving California? I think only people that can leave are successful people.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just going to stay a shithole. Who knows?
So I'm gonna pull this together, and I asked that question to
That's
pull
right.
this.
Joe said DEI standards. There's something about that. I couldn't remember what it was, but Joe's right.
But I'm pulling this in. The main thumbnail of the podcast, which I think is a complete fucking travesty of what happened Tuesday.
Sure.
With fucking Al Green standing up, shaking his fucking pimp stick at the fucking president of the United States.
Right.
All right. So first off, I'm going to say, go fuck yourself. You're 77 years old and have done like 12 fucking terms.
Yeah.
And nobody listens to you.
And what's this guy done in Congress?
Outside. Well, he apparently was accused of rape.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I thought he was a singer.
That's not. No, we like that, Al Green. We don't like this guy.
No, he got out of that by making a payoff.
Yes,
thanks to our taxpayer dollars.
So I'm not playing anything out of this article. It's just Dems who derailed Al Green's censure could be stripped of House committee roles. So when they all stand there He gets censured, and we talked about it before we went on the air. Nothing happens with a censure.
No.
And listening to a couple other podcasts, because I'm not super versed in this realm, because I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen.
Adam Schiff was censored.
But it's before like I was podcasting and paying attention.
Well, I don't think
to politics.
It's been a while. I don't think anyone's been escorted from the chamber.
But
so I think
but being escorted out by the fucking sergeant at arms, and you're kicked out of the room. I roll all of this in to go back to that speech and how fucking awesome I felt it was. I know Jill felt the same. Her mom felt the same. We were all watching it together. It was one of the most powerful speeches I think he's done, because he's leaning on a teleprompter, and he'd go off of it a little bit. But you have this ass clown stand up, make an ass of himself, and then when they go into the fucking house a couple days later and they want to do the censure,
that yes,
and the House Speaker can't fucking get decorum back, has to go into a recess, but they start singing "We Shall Overcome." Are you fucking kidding me?
That's all they got.
It's exactly all they got.
All they have is to go to the race card.
But with that, I'm glad you said it that way. You throw in the fact that all the Dems couldn't stand up for a 13-year-old kid, survived brain cancer.
That is from Al Green's very district.
Exactly. And becomes a Secret Service agent. I don't know. And just the heartstrings tugged. I don't know if you paid attention to the Secret Service agent.
Did you cry?
I teared up when I saw the Secret Service agent get a hug, and the Secret Service agent was trying to hold his shit together.
Yeah, and from what I heard, that's one tough guy.
I thought it was badass.
Yeah, I thought it was as
you got a kid from fucking West Point, or that's going to West Point.
To West Point.
He gets appointed to West Point, and little man gives him a fucking fist bump.
That was good.
NYPD officer whose wife was being honored. He was being honored, but his wife was being honored as well. None of these sons of bitches could stand up and applaud and do the right thing.
No, it's too tough.
And that's what irks the shit out of me.
You forgot Dingell, the rep from Michigan. She was actually rolling her eyes.
Yes,
she actually rolled her eyes. Couldn't be bothered with the moment.
I mean, it's just so sickening.
It is sickening, and it's not playing well for the Democrats. Zeke talked about it on his. I saw he had a thing on.
Did you see his rant where there's one dude crying and he's catching his tears in his cup,
yeah,
and he was like,
so awesome.
He was like, "Your liberal tears taste delicious."
Zeke's been on
one of the greatest.
Yeah, his little.
It's one of his best.
His Instagram feed is awesome, but
it's just, I mean, the state of affairs that we're in, where
you can't stand. I mean, listen, take. And worse than that, Jason, they could not stand during any of those moments. I mean, that young man, though. I mean, just for a second, the girl that had her face was been injured and had her face
partially
paralyzed, has had a health thing. They couldn't stand for her because that would alienate their trans base.
Lincoln Riley's parents.
Yeah, that's right. The guy that was a prisoner in Russia, that his 7-year-old mother was there. They couldn't stand for that because Biden left him there, didn't make a deal for him. And this young boy has had 13 brain operations? 13 brain surgeries, has broken the odds, was diagnosed to live a very short period of time. He's 13 years old. He's in the Capitol. Can you not just stand and acknowledge that the fact that he is, breaking the odds and his bravery and how well he is?
He knows nothing about your politics.
He knows nothing, but you've brought him into the mix of politics, and you couldn't stand because Donald Trump was acknowledging him. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, you had your liberal media pundits call him a prop, which he didn't like, and also say they were lamenting the fact that he might kill himself because now he's a Secret Service agent, trying to tie that into some sort of reference to January 6th.
Yeah, that
bullshit.
was Nicole Wallace.
Yeah, Nicole
talking
Wallace.
about how
I couldn't remember.
Oh, I
her
hope he
name.
don't have to defend him. Defend the Capitol against Trump supporters and,
The
and
mental
then kill himself later.
Between her
on.
and Maddow both.
Listen, as I said the day after, because I was so incensed, and I actually got bleeped from a radio station. I dropped I thought "goddamn" was okay to say on the radio. I guess it's not.
That a boy. I'm so proud. I'm so fucking proud of you.
What
Andrew.
radio station?
550.
Oh, when you were talking about Brian Thomas?
Yeah, he bleeped me out for a while. So anyway, I thought "goddamn" was okay. It's in the Bible.
Joe knows better.
Is it not?
Joe is right there on the dump
I
button.
know,
when
but is
Pappas
it not
around.
okay to say "goddamn" on the radio?
No, it is not. That is not okay. That is frowned upon.
You know what that is? That's bullshit. But anyhow,
But that's frowned upon too.
I understand that. But the
Not
rules
here,
are a
though.
little different here on the podcast.
Not here. Not here. You can say whatever you want, Andrew.
The point of the matter is, I consider
until we get censored.
Look, I used to think liberalism, as Michael Savage said, was a mental disorder.
A mental disorder,
right? Michael Savage always said liberalism is a mental disorder, and I have changed that theory.
Is this show on the radio anymore? Or do you got to get it online?
I don't know. He's pretty old. I don't know that it's on the radio.
His show was great.
Yeah,
though.
it was great.
I made it a point to listen to
That
him
guy
every
was on
chance
fire.
every chance I could.
He got pissed off.
Are you two going to get in the car and hold hands?
Michael Savage is fantastic.
Michael Savage was great.
You
But
turn that on.
Did you ever listen to Michael Savage?
I have not.
Then you don't know what we're talking about.
But wait,
But I figure you could go do that out in the car.
He was
after
almost
we're
as
done.
good as Liddy. Liddy was also good on the radio. But anyway, the point of the matter is I used to think it was a mental disorder, and I agree with him. You know what I think it is now? I think liberalism is a cult, and they are behaving as it's a cult.
Well, I mean, yeah, man. Look, abortion, environmentalism, all the things that they stand for are this is their religion.
But it is their religion.
Yeah.
It's a cult because they all
cult. Call it what you want.
Like they're in Congress. They all wear the same thing. Everybody wear pink. And then they treat just like a cult. What happens in a cult if you dare to vary from the doctrine of the cult? What do? They ostracize
You're
you.
out.
Right.
Yeah. You're
and the same thing is
executed or
happening
you're out.
in
Yeah.
the Democrat and liberal policies. If you disagree with a liberal, what they do is they ostracize you. And that is the very, very symptomatic symptoms of a cult. So I think liberalism, and a lot of that, I've seen the behavior of a lot of local liberals here, and it's cultish. They go on trip. Listen, let me tell you. Not only
Should I not have bought the purple shroud and the Nike shoes? Because I made Kool-Aid. I made Kool-Aid for everybody
well,
too.
here's the funny thing. I know conservatives, okay, we hang out maybe together. We might go have a beer, whatever else, go to a meeting, and then we all go home. Very individual, very entrepreneurial, individualistic. You know what the Democrats or the liberals do? They actually go on vacations together. And I have pictures. I've been sent a lot. They post the pictures. They're all going to places together. Look, guys, I like you. Don't get me wrong. I like hanging out. I like doing this. But I like to go home and do my own shit. I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of Republicans all night long. It gets old pretty quick.
But
I never thought I'd hear that out of you, but
I'm not a member of a cult.
I completely get it.
During your rant there, you made a good point that reminded me of something. That remember when Benjamin Netanyahu was here, and this was during the later parts of the campaign, and Kamala Harris was still vice president, and Netanyahu came and he made a speech to a joint session of Congress,
right?
And Kamala Harris, as vice president, could not be bothered to attend that speech. And the only reason that she couldn't go is because she couldn't risk alienating that part of her voting base that are pro-Palestinian, that want to create terror on college campuses, and those people who hate Israel. She was so concerned about them seeing her sit behind Benjamin Netanyahu as he made a speech to Congress.
Didn't want those optics.
She had to pretend as if she had something more important to do.
Wasn't it a sorority?
During the
It was
camp?
a sorority system.
It was, yeah.
It was a sorority
I think it was.
It was.
And I think
Steven, thanks for your comment. Appreciate you.
I think that hurt her probably more than any of us knows, the fact that she didn't show up to that speech. I mean, what an absolute coward to sit there and if you're going to be criticized for that, from your own people, then you've got to explain to them why. Look, I'm the vice president of the United States. Israel is our ally.
Yeah.
Benjamin Netanyahu has got a lot of shit on his plate right now. I need to be there in support to find out what's going on, talk to him. But no, she couldn't do that. So, I mean, it really showed how weak of a candidate she really was.
Well,
I mean, just terrible.
Thankfully, and the other thing that jumped out at me during that video earlier in the show is how unbelievably lucky we are. We dodged a bullet with Kamala sitting in the back of Biden's speeches, sitting there, with her mouth open. It's hard for her. She's a mouth breather. She can't breathe out of her nasal passages. I just
she's gonna be running against Gavin.
Well, yeah, she is. Well, maybe. Who knows? Her Timmy Walls is in the race. I heard.
And Walls. So yeah. So you got three douche canoes.
That one hurt you. That's the one that hurt you.
You got three.
Tim Walls.
Tim Walls.
God,
he's gonna throw his hat in the ring. Three douche canoes.
What would cause anyone to think that Tim Walls is presidential timber? Are you kidding me?
I don't.
Fuck! I deleted the picture that I had on there for the longest time, where he's like,
the big eyes. Yeah, I'll send it to you again.
And Buttigieg is out there too. He's doing all the talk shows.
Well, he's trying to
gin up his name
run for. I think he's trying to run for the Senate seat in Michigan that might be open, or some congressional.
So with everything that's happened, since Tuesday, we've obviously had we've had our boy Shrek.
I was going to say,
AKA Fetterman.
Oh yeah. Well, I was going to say one more thing. Dan mentioned, and I was going to segue into it just for a second. All the protests, Kamala couldn't say anything about, be on there for Israel. And then the protests that are going on at all these schools, these anti-Israeli, pro-Palestinian protests. Well, how's that working out for him financially?
Oh,
because just today,
Daddy Trump says, I'm going to start pulling funding.
I'm going to pull federal funding. And he pulled how much? $400 million
from Columbia,
from one school alone.
Mm-hmm.
And Marco Rubio is canceling the student visas of a lot of those who are involved in these anti-Semitic protests that are happening.
These are not protests. They are. Listen, there's peaceful protests. There's protests that kind of get out of hand. Whatever. These people are targeting and harassing students at the university and keeping them from going to class. And these people are violating the very civil rights of American citizens, and a lot of them are on visas. So you know what? This administration ain't playing around, and it's done. Let me ask you guys really quick before we get to Fetterman, if that's where we're going.
Yeah, I got a quick video. It's nothing major.
I've got one more thing to add to this, but go ahead.
Since this is the post speech show, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What was just really quick, not to get too deep into it. What was your line of the night? What was your favorite line?
Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I asked you this blind, so bear with us.
I've got a couple of it.
And he did. Go ahead, Dan, because I'm not ready for it.
One of my favorite lines of the night was I'll give you the two that I'm thinking of.
Well, you might take his. Gotta pick one.
But they're both really good.
I mean, I watched the whole thing, but I don't have it fucking verbatim in my goddamn head.
The one line, and I talked about both of these on my radio show, and now I can't decide which one I like better.
He gets extra credit because he does a radio show too.
The one thing that was really profound, and I'll say this, is when Trump said, "We need to tell children," and I'm paraphrasing here, that God, we love you exactly the way you are, and God made you, perfect. Because
we love you. I think he said, "We love you exactly the way God made you."
Yeah. But
that was a good line.
It was Trump talking about getting all this transgender nonsense out of the classroom, out of the schools.
And I
had Cheryl Chumley on my show last night from the Washington, not the Washington Post, but the
Examiner.
No, not the Washington Examiner, the Washington Times.
Washington Globe.
Washington Times. But anyway.
Washington, go fuck yourself.
And I said, how great would it be,
Capitals,
if we got rid of all the pride flags, all the LGBTQ nonsense, all the rainbow this and that, all that crap out of our schools, and instead replaced it with that statement from Trump that you are perfect just the way you are.
Yeah.
I mean, how much better off would we be in this country if we replaced that sentiment
I'd
with
like it
all
to
this
say-
with all this bullshit.
I'd like it to be as God made you because
Yeah.
it acknowledges
Yeah.
God making them.
Right.
But what was your second one?
I'm not gonna
I'll
I'm not gonna pull a line, but I'm gonna pull the way his demeanor was.
Okay.
When Al Green was doing his fucking bullshit, Trump didn't say a word. He let JD Vance pretty much say, "Get him out of here."
Yeah.
And then you had Mike Johnson on the other side, pretty much saying the same thing. But for the one time in his life, Trump shut his mouth and let the system work the way it's supposed to work.
I agree with that. That was good. Instead of being Trumpish,
And engaging that behavior and that bullshit. So, I mean, I don't have a line for you, but yeah.
For me, the line of the night, and I think this is where it was a home run, is when he looked at the Democrats and he said, you guys said we needed legislation to fix the border, but it turns out all we needed was the right president.
That's the other line I was going to say.
Because that one.
Now that you say it, I do remember.
They
that
had to
too.
all swallow their teeth on that one because it was like so telling and such a perfect example. Because just that day, border crossings were at like a 15-year low for the month. So yeah, I think since it's a post show, we're going to still ride the highs of it. It's only Friday. The speech was Tuesday. We'll see how long this ride lasts. I'm happy so far.
We all love Megyn Kelly. We talked about that before.
Oh,
So
yes.
I want to play this
yes.
quick clip because we need to dial it down here soon.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Where's that at?
Cal Polytech.
Jesus, California.
Yeah.
Say about it. Pennsylvania.
This is great.
Fuck you, John Fetterman. You act like you're a man of the people. You're going to look out for the weak. You get it. You don't get shit. You really don't. That part of your brain still appears to be injured because you're going to let all these little girls go out there and get a traumatic brain injury. You, of all people who understand what a brain injury can do, screw you and your working class appeal. You don't get it at all. Say about it. Pennsylvania.
I do love the fact that she's got this podcast and she just goes fucking crazy.
That's what I said.
That is so classic.
So for those of you who don't know,
crazy in a good way, in my opinion. It's my opinion. Crazy,
so she's on XM. She's on the Patriot channel on XM, and she has a podcast every day. And you guys would do well.
How long does her podcast?
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours
every day.
2 hours of pleasure.
Does she normally have a guest?
I need to download.
Yeah, a lot of times she has guests.
Yeah.
She very rarely does the show without a guest, and
although she could monologue for 2 hours,
she
easily,
really
yeah.
could. But she is sharp. She is on point. And let us remind everybody that she hasn't always been a huge Trump fan.
Correct.
So her conversion. I don't know if you know this, that she is actually struggling with an autoimmune disease that she claims was brought on by the vaccine because she was a big vax.
Really?
Yeah,
No, I did not know that.
She was a big vax proponent back in the day, and now she's very much of the opinion that the vaccination caused her health. She's having some health issues. It doesn't look like it by looking at her, but she's easy on the eyes.
Yeah,
but she is
now she's growing a tail and a wiener.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you talk about
jab.
that, though,
A
when you
goddamn
look at
I didn't know that. The tail and the wiener. Just really.
Welcome to the podcast, Andrew.
I know, but I mean,
but when you talk about
love
that,
her.
about Megyn Kelly, and I remember the famous blow up between her and Trump,
right?
When during the first Trump campaign, and she was moderating the debate, and they had their face off, and you look at where she is now when it comes to Trump. She spoke at his rally in New York City at Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah.
And she was in a pretty prime spot too. And she was like, 3 or 4 speakers before they brought out Trump. So that's, the closer you are
that's right.
in proximity to the principal, then that shows how important you are. But I mean, she gave a great speech there. But you look at people like Megyn Kelly. Look at people like Marco Rubio, who was an anti-Trumper, early on. Look at people.
You've got 2 minutes, by the way.
Why? What's happened in 2
We're
minutes?
dialing it down.
I know. You
gotta
go.
Fish
but
fry.
look at people like Tulsi Gabbard, who was now she's part of his administration.
In the administration.
Look at people like Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go down the list,
And the Democrats couldn't applaud him either.
and
Like
all
Kennedy.
these people who don't have a financial stake in this. And that's what Democrats. Well, they're just trying to make money for themselves. It's so that argument is so weak and so lame. But these are people who have looked at Trump, looked at what he's about, didn't jump in with both feet right away, but took their time. And now that they know what he's about, they know what his agenda is about, they're there to help him get to the end. Before I close it out, we were talking about the demonstrations on campus. And here's at Cal Polytech, they told Jewish students to hide their Jewish identity to avoid anti-Semitic harassment.
And what was the harassment? Because I saw the thing. Read the line below it.
Well, this is because of a federal complaint. And pro-Hamas activists were pelting Jews with fake blood.
I mean, that's not protesting. That's harassing. That's assault.
Sure.
Exactly. And that's why battery.
That's unbelievably dangerous.
And that's why Columbia lost how many? $400 million.
$400 million in federal funding to and look, Columbia's got a lot of money. These Ivy League schools, they brush that off. They got endowments in the billions.
That's a lot of money.
But the thing, haven't we heard from all these schools that, we accept everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Be who you are. Well, no.
Just not Jewish.
But now you've got a school telling them, look, if you're Jewish, you got to hide that shit.
And not pro-Israel.
Oh, yeah. If you're transgender, LGBTQ, you like, dick up your ass. And we love it. Come on. Let your freak flag fly. But
could you have said anything else other than that?
That's what all the you should be proud of that.
If you had a tail.
You should be proud of sodomy.
No,
but
okay. It's all right.
But that's what we've been told.
Not yes.
But if you're Jewish, you got to hide that. No,
or else we're gonna keep you from class, and we're gonna throw fake blood at you amongst other things.
And really, then look, the school. There's like,
Need I remind you that all the protesters, if you've watched the videos, what are they doing? They're all wearing what? Masks.
Yeah.
Remember the masks and how brave people are, especially online when they have fake identities and they hide behind pseudonyms.
Well,
that's a virtual mask.
They want to maintain their viability for employment later on.
Take that mask off of them, and then they you know what? It's like that movie.
Cowards are cowards.
Their bowls shrivel, and they become quite flaccid.
Nicely done. Hey guys,
we've gone full circle. This takes us right back to where we started the show with that gal. I'm woke and I'm proud.
Damn, we didn't even plan. We're getting good. We didn't plan that.
Slowly rolling it in.
God.
Everybody, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Download the audios on all the audio platforms. We need the help. We always appreciate the help and love seeing everybody in the chats. We had a Stephen Corbin in the chats. First time we've seen him, but he listens to us on Spotify.
Not everybody. Let's be fair. We love
most people.
99.999%.
Yeah.
But no, we appreciate everybody.
And if you're Jewish, you don't have to hide that on our show.
That's right. You're welcome here.
You're welcome.
Everybody's welcome except for a 0.001%. That's right. But no, try to put this show out for us. We're trying to grow it, and we're learning.
We're gonna hit me back
Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We will be back. So thank you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll keep you posted on how golf goes Sunday, and see if Dan has a blow up. He's on my team, so I hope he doesn't have a blow up.
I'm ready.
But no, thank you guys, and have a great weekend, and happy Lent, happy fish fries if that's what you're into, and we will see you Monday at 5.
Monday out.
See ya.